A good way to practice making facial features is by doing little studies on small pieces of clay. That way you get to really investigate the architecture of the face without having the pressure of the committing to the entire head. So I'm making a little hollowed out, almost like a pinch pot. And what I'm trying to get is the brow, where the brow meets the bridge of the nose and the eye socket. So as you can see, the eye is set back from the bridge of the nose. And for this, you really should use a mirror. Once you have created the bridge of the nose and the top of the brow and a cavity for the eye, you can start to add a little bit of clay. I usually make like a small almond, half spherical ball of clay, almost almond shaped, but a little more rounded. Flatten it out on the back and then place it in that cavity that you created. Then score it up and add that clay in there, joining it and compressing it really well. At first, it's not going to look like much. It's just going to look like a ball inside a cup, right? And that, but then we are going to add the top and bottom lids of the eye, and that's when it starts to look realistic. In the meantime, you've added a lot of thickness, so sometimes I take my wire tool and I'll go hollow out the back so that it's not thicker in any one place than about a ½ inch. So what I did was just hollowed out the back of this little study, and I'm smoothing it. As with all sculpture, you really want to generalize first before you get specific. Then you're going to look in the mirror and see if you're getting that architecture correct. Then you get a small piece of really wet clay and make a little tiny coil. And if the coil is pointed on one end, that's great. The pointy end is going to go to the center of the eye where the eye meets the bridge of the nose. And then you're just going to push that little coil in, preserving the edge of the coil that becomes the lid. Get a tool and blend that clay in at the top, but preserve the line that becomes the top of the lid where the eye lid meets the eye inside. And you can use your fingers. See how that top lid begins to become realized? And then you want to do the exact same thing for the bottom lid. A really thin coil that's pointy on one end, and the pointy end is going to go to the inside of the eye, and that's going to become the bottom lid. So you preserve the ridge of that lid, the ridge of that coil where it touches the eye itself, and you blend the bottom lid into the skin of the eye. Then once you have that created, you can add as much detail as you want, changing the shape of the lid, but that's the basics.